mysticism, okay? So this is something called Kabbalah. The Kabbalah means to receive. And the Kabbalah is an understanding of how the universe works, why we're here, where we came from, where we're going. Okay, this is called the tree of life. And the story is this. In the beginning, God is everything. It's pure energy. And God wants to know itself. God wants to complete itself. God wants to extend itself. And so what it does is it creates a new being called Adam Kadmon, okay? Think of Adam Kadmon as the cosmic man, the first cosmic man. And God is the will to bestow. God is love, generosity, forgiveness. So God wants to extend himself onto Adam Kadmon. And to do that, he creates Adam Kadmon as the will to receive, okay? The will to receive. God is the will to bestow. Adam Kadmon is the will to receive. But the problem with this is that as the will to receive, Adam Kadmon is pure ego. And so he doesn't really appreciate why God is so generous with him, why God is willing to bestow his essence onto him. So Adam Kadmon rejects God because he's full of doubt. He's skeptical. He's scared. He's embarrassed. Okay? And this ultimately leads to something called the shattering of the vessels. Shattering of the vessels. All right? So what happens is that this is the tree of life, which is basically Adam Kadmon. All right? And as God is trying to pour his essence into Adam Kadmon turns away. And so what happens is the light spills outside the tree of life. Okay? And these sparks of divinity scattered across the world. And this breaks the world. So, as a result, this leads to sin, death in our world. So in order for us to repair the world, what we need to do is collect those sparks that have spilled over from the tree of life and then combine them together, repair the vessel so that God may come to our world and reunify with us. Okay? So according to Jewish mysticism, that is the purpose of life. All right? So this is the very basic understanding of the Kabbalah, which helps us understand our place in the world and why we're here to do what we do. Now, there are three things I need you guys to remember about the tree of life. Okay? The first thing to remember about the tree of life is that it's sexual in nature. Okay? So the idea is that two forces are combining to create a new force, right? So God is the will to bestow, and Adam Kadmon is the will to receive. So there's a divine fundamental force to sex, okay? You've been taught that it's a dirty thing, but in fact, it's a very fundamental force of the universe, okay? And because the world is sexual, it moves in a certain logic. Okay, and the logic is this. You start off with a being who creates another being in order to complete itself, okay? And this leads to a new being, which then creates another being, which creates another being, okay? And this is the tree of life. In other words, the tree of life is the fundamental movement of the universe. And we can also frame it as thesis, synthesis, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Okay, that's number 2. Okay, this is the fundamental logic of the universe. And the third thing that we need to appreciate is that our mission on Earth, our journey, our purpose, is to repair the world by saving the sparks of light, okay? The sparks of light are fragments of God, memories of God, that are now scattered across the world. The problem is that as they become scattered in the world, they become enveloped by husk, okay? Material things, husk. And we call these like the body, right? So in other words, our spirit, the spirit inside us, it's divine, but we're covered by our body, which is the husk. And as a result, we're blinded by our material desires. Okay? And so this is a fundamental conflict in the universe. How do we go about repairing the world? Well, we go about repairing the world by repairing ourselves, by discovering the light inside of us. All right? And so this is the question that Gay Talese is going to undertake. What he's going to do is that he's going to risk his entire career. He did actually risk his entire career. And he's going to go into the deepest, darkest corners of the human heart to figure out how we can liberate our divine aspects from the husk that has imprisoned it. Okay? That is the fundamental conflict driving the book, Thy Neighbor's Wife. Right? And if you read the book, 3 different solutions are being proposed. Okay? 3 different solutions are being proposed to answer this mystery. The first solution is meditation. Okay? Meaning that we ourselves have the energy, the power to liberate our spark from our husk through intense concentration. Okay? But in a sexual sense, what is meditation? Meditation is masturbation. I know this sounds really weird, okay? I know this is going to be disturbing for some of us, but it will make sense when we get to the passage, okay? I'm just building the framework, the theory for when we read Thy Neighbor's Wife, okay? So that's the first solution. Second solution is to embrace sex. Okay, so the theory here is that sex is meant to be free, to be casual, to be joyous. But society has imposed restrictions on sex. So sex is a mechanism to control your feelings, to imprison your soul. Okay? Because sex is taboo. So for example, if you were to get married, you're not supposed to sleep with other people who is not your wife or your husband. If you do so, you will have betrayed your wife, yourself, and society as a whole. And then you ask yourself, well, why is that important? Why is sex and love really the same thing? So what if you have sex with another person? Why does that matter? Why can't you separate your husk from your soul? Your soul can belong to another person, but your husk can be enjoyed with other people. Okay? And the way to liberate people from this convention, from this taboo, is to fully embrace sex. Okay? The more sex there is between different people, the more they recognize that what matters is not the sex, what matters is the love. Okay? Through sin, you can break the taboo. You can liberate yourself from the taboo. When you liberate yourself from the taboo, you liberate your soul. Okay? And then your soul can then reconnect with God. So there's a second solution proposed in Thy Neighbor's Wife. And the third solution is to recognize that the world as constructed is perfect. It's not broken, it's perfect. It's not malfunctioning, it's doing exactly what it should be doing. Why? Because we're here not to find the sparks of light, we're here to create sparks of light. And how can we do so? We can do so through love and the imagination. Okay? We're not here to return to God. We're here to do what God cannot do and extend the boundaries of the universe by using our imagination. By creating memories that are transcendental, that travel beyond time and space, and which are able to inspire others to imagine and to dream as well. Okay, and this is the idea of Dante. So you have three radical visions of what it means to seek liberation. You have three radical visions of what it means to free your soul and to be one with God. Okay?